maps. You can see comparables to previous years and locations. It shows the race, the age group, the gender of the victims, the shootings per month, the shootings on the days of the week, and the times that the shootings are occurring. Again, this is how we make informed decisions on where we put resources, whether it's operational resources, patrol officers, or where we put some of our partners that we, on the prevention side, into the neighborhoods. Our relationship with Serve and Connect is a great example of how we try to put folks in place in some of our most underserved areas that are experiencing this crime to try to prevent crime before it happens. In closing, the data collected from both dashboards come from incident reports and from ShotSpotter technology. This information is updated by our crime analysts that will sit in our real-time crime center on every Monday. So it's updated weekly. So keep in mind with statistics that numbers often change, and it's based on the information that is gathered and is what we have, the newest information that we have that we can share. I would also add, as we continue to look at evidence-based strategies to help us reduce violent crime, on June 7th next week, we will be holding our 9th ceasefire offender call-in, and we'll have 25 or 30 offenders that we know are most vulnerable to either be the victim of violent crime or perpetrate violent crime. They will have an audience with law enforcement leaders throughout the Midlands, and then they'll hear from important service providers that are going to make sure that they have all the tools that they need to be successful. I'm very pleased to have Reverend McDowell. He wears a number of hats. Reverend McDowell, he's a man of faith, very respected in our faith community. He's a city councilman, and he's our mayor pro tem, but it was important for him to be here on this important day. Would you like to say anything, sir?
Yes, sir. Chief, thank you so much for the ability to articulate what's really going on in our community. To you who have gathered a very sensitive issue in the lives of this community. As you know, gun violence is now the leading cause of death for children and teens in the United States. Over the past years, we have seen an uptick in the number of gun-related crimes and injuries to persons in our community. Every day, 120 persons in the United States are killed, with 200 folk being wounded every day. It is important to note that gun violence is not inevitable, but preventable. It is our hope and our desire that this data that we have and this dashboard that will become a necessary part of what's going on in this area might be helpful and useful. Remember, 26 times the limit of a developed country gun violence is being perpetrated within these United States. Is it time for us? Can we say in an unresounding voice, enough is enough? What can we collaboratively say that's going to move us from inevitability to preventability? What have we got to do? What have we got to say? It's up to us, and it's up to every member of this city of ours to not only hear it, but to say something, and in saying something, doing something. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend McDowell. So can I answer any questions about the dashboard or the public presentation and such?
Yeah, Chief, related to your efforts on gun violence, you have sent letters to lawmakers in the past. Obviously, this is targeted toward the public, but have you presented this to lawmakers, and is that part of your advocacy?
We have not presented this. You all are first to see this dashboard. I would certainly hope that our representatives for the Columbia Midlands area would take a moment to peruse just how significant these numbers are. You know, it's what we've seen shift in my tenure, at least, is this was arguably, some would say, was a Columbia problem 9-10 years ago. We've talked about how Columbia has historically had a lot of violent crime, but what we have seen shift statistically is it is a state problem, and it touches every walk of life. We've seen homicide increase over 50% in the last 5 years. What we have seen locally has tracked consistently at the state level and also at the national level. So I have not seen any meaningful legislation since I've been here. There's probably been more talk of it these last 2 years especially. I certainly think it's on everybody's radar, but we do need to see some action. We need to see some follow through on that. We know we've got some loopholes in our law. We have got to have graduated sentencing. We've got to have possession, felon in possession statutes, and I mean these are just common sense statutes. It's not we're not moving a mountain here. We are bringing laws that are very industry standard and found throughout the country, but we have got to create some penalty for, again, a very, very small part of our population in our community that is perpetrating these violent crimes. This is not something that is going to have a detrimental effect on the prison system, the criminal justice system in general. This is putting a small percent of the population in jail, which is exactly where they need to be.
I saw that ShotSpotter is part of the data. How accurate and how helpful has it been since you guys have had that technology?
I think ShotSpotter has been just an incredible return. We've seen incredible return on investment. It was a big part of us being awarded a Crime Gun Intelligence Center innovation grant several years ago. We were just one of a handful in the country to get that, and that was because of the investment that we have made in technology, whether it's with ShotSpotter technology or a comprehensive surveillance, camera surveillance system throughout our city. As a result of that, we are responding to, within the ShotSpotter zone, every alert of gunfire, and we're collecting very valuable ballistic evidence that we're connecting to other scenes, not just in our city, but in other communities outside of our city. We're connecting guns to people, to shell casings, fired shell casings. So to me, it's been an incredible tool for us.
To build off that question, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the ShotSpotter is traditionally put in the more active areas, which would be the northern part of the city. How should people interpret the ShotSpotter data if there are more ShotSpotters and potentially more alerts as a result of that?
Fire that one back at me again.
There are more ShotSpotters in the northern part of the city.
Right.
And as a result, right behind you, there are going to be more alerts. How should folks interpret the data if there are more ShotSpotters in the northern part of the city?
Well, two things. So there's not more ShotSpotters in the northern part of the city. That is where our ShotSpotter technology exclusively is. It's only in 7 square miles, primarily in north. So the reason it's in north is because if you look at our dashboard, it's going to show you geographically, because you can manipulate the dashboard through region to region. So you'll see North Region, which is primarily 29203, is going to show that's where our hotspot is. So the ShotSpotter deployment geographic zone, our 7 square miles, was data driven from its inception. It is put where we have the most reported violent crime, but it is told a much greater story over its history. you know, when we first established the technology and turned the on switch, we would get the alert, but we would not get the follow-up 911 call from a citizen. So
then, how are you getting ShotSpotter data in other parts of the city if they're only in 7 square miles?
you don't see ShotSpotter in the rest of the part of the city. You only, the ShotSpotter dashboard is the data that is collected from our ShotSpotter zones exclusively. Okay? 2 different dashboards. Shooting hits, fatal and non-fatal, where they're occurring throughout the entire geography of the city, the race, gender, age, times of day it's occurring, days of the week, and when you look at the map, you can also have takeaways from neighborhoods. ShotSpotter is specific to where ShotSpotter is deployed, and that is 7 square miles of our city.
What is the deployment of these this technology now is so important. What is your intent for the public to know as far as, is it like a shock and awe for them to log in and say, oh my goodness, this is happening in this area? What are you hoping as a response from this deployment today?
Well, I hope it does have a little bit of shock value. I don't know if we've been desensitized to just how significant this issue is, but I mean, we're losing a generation to violent crime. I mean, we are losing a generation. You could argue that we lost a good part of a generation, and we're still reeling from the effects of the opioid national crisis. And this violent crime crisis, to me, is at least for our community, is comparable in scale. This is destroying young lives every single day. So I hope it does have some shock value to our citizens, and that there is more of a collaborative effort, whether with law enforcement, our different service providers, our faith community. This is going to take everybody pulling in the same direction with one common goal. And again, as I say, it is a shared responsibility.
Other than the geography, what are your big takeaways from this data?
We've got a significant issue that we've got to address as a community. The data speaks for itself. Our city manager and our elected officials, they've taken great strides to support this police department and give us the tools to do our job. They've invested heavily in technology to make our city safe, and we're the tip of the spear. We know that, but we've got to have help, and again, that's going to come from our citizens, our partner agencies, from our different service providers. We've all got to own this problem. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you all.